cool boy, dude.
He was a cool boy. He's one of my favorite cool boys from that universe.
Rodan.
Yeah. Just a big pterodactyl kind of.
Yeah, he's just a big bird.
Pretty simple, but
Bird boy.
we've had this discussion before. I like big birds.
You
So
Big birds and I cannot fly.
and I cannot fly because I cannot fly, probably.
Because I cannot fly.
Welcome to Doorcast. Opening doors, closing doors.
All the doors.
Doors ajar, doors adoors.
Dork doors.
Dora the Explorer.
Oh, did you see the trailer for the live action Dora?
Yep, I did.
That was weird.
That was very weird.
And the what is it called? Like the it's something like
subtitle?
Golden City. Yeah.
I don't care. I don't know.
Golden.
It's like the lost city of gold.
Yeah, some
Well, it's like
some
El Dorado.
really generic shit
El
like that.
Dorado.
But that's strange, isn't it? That the TV show of Dora is mostly, can you find the like blank?
Yeah.
Which probably won't
And like
happen in the movie.
they stole that from
Grown up now.
they stole
Well,
that from Blue's
Blue's
Clues,
Clues.
when they did like up a mountain and over a bridge.
I think even Bear in the Big Blue House did that sometimes, where he'd be like, "Is Rizzo in the background?"
Yeah.
Goodbye Moon, or no, what was that? Whatever the song they sang at the end of Bear in the Big Blue House was, got me every time.
Oh yeah. It's like the nighttime.
Goodbye for now,
Oh, yeah.
until we meet again. I said so long,
Out the
farewell.
box.
Out of the box. Out of the box.
It was the Asian lady and the super smiley black dude with dreads, and then he'd always grab something to play the bongos on.
Mhm.
Not always bongos, and then he'd have like in Getting to the Greek the Africa face, you know?
You know.
Yeah. and then he'd start playing the drums on there, and it was so long. Farewell to you, my
Wow, how did I mess those two up?
goodbye.
Now I gotta know what the Bear in the Big Blue House
Till
was.
we meet again.
What about
Gullah Gullah Island.
Gullah Gullah, Allegra's Window,
Yep.
Eureka's Castle?
Yep. Eureka's Castle.
What was Eureka? Do do do.
I don't remember. Eureka was
Castle.
such a long time ago. I remember me being like kind of scared of that as a young, because when it was on, I was like 3, 4. I was really, really young, and I saw that intro of the giant walking around that landscape and around the castle, and I had actual daymares about that, where I
Really?
would imagine scary giants walking around outside, and I'd just be like, "Oh no, I'm a scared little boy."
What a wonderful song.
What was the one with the lady that was supposed to be like a doll? She had like a red nose, and then like all the stuff around
Big
her
comfy
was
Yeah.
couch?
giant and shit.
Wasn't she like the big comfy couch?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Big ass couch, and she sat on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was called the Big Comfy Couch or something like
Yeah.
that.
Was it? She was like a kind of like a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah. And there's a puppet in there too.
There's a puppet somewhere.
Do you remember what's her name? Fucking Lamb Chops Play Along?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude.
That's when I figured out the
Lamb
song
Chop?
that never ends. That's
Yeah.
when like I learned that song.
Yep. Lamb Chop still exists as a pet toy. Yeah.
That's good.
It's still kicking. I don't know what's it called instead. What is it? What is the Bear in the Big Blue House one?
It sounds like a folk like happy like
I love
Peter
it.
Paul.
It
and
is.
Mary.
It's very folky.
I
It's
love
like-
the show
Okay.
for puppets.
The moon's like this classy like
We were both like all about that soulful moment of Bear.
Would he throw some stank on it like that?
And then they do like little montage, like flashes of Rizzo. No, I'm thinking Rizzo the rat from Muppets. I don't remember the fucking little blue mouse in here.
from that show.
be waiting for you to come
The-
and play.
At the beginning, Bear would always like come up to the TV and smell it.
Yeah.
My brother got freaked out whenever the bear would like come like really up close to the lens
now.
and just smell the screen. It would just freak him out. He's like, ah!
I smell you. I smell you, son. Through the TV.
What's that smell? Are you cooking? What are you making? Cookies?
I remember, like, I would watch that show and I'd be like, I enjoy this, but I know I'm too old for it, but I still enjoy it.
That was me always.
Just like
I remember
Booba.
Watching like Blue's Clues and shit. I'm like, I'm way too old for this show, but like, god damn it, Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper.
He was French and she was American.
And then they had Paprika.
Yeah, Paprika.
Big kid.
When
they had another
Phoebe,
one too.
like Phoebe was the doctor, the stork at the, or no, she was either a stork or a giraffe at the
They were
hospital.
mixed race couple.
Yeah. A Frenchman.
My favorite was Slippery Soap.
Slippery soap.
That fucker was cool.
You son of a gun.
Bananas in pajamas, dude.
Nah.
Bananas in pajamas.
In pajamas. Bananas in
That was the whole conceit, was that they were bananas in pajamas and that they came downstairs, and then after that it was like, well, here we are in this world. I hope this was fun for you, everybody.
You like the Doodle
What
Bops?
was the
No.
old ass one?
I don't even remember Doodle
Oh,
Bops.
the banana splits.
That's a good
Where
song.
they were in the big costumes. And...
Yeah, 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 yeah.
They had
La,
the,
la, la.
recent, like DC was doing, there was
all
a
the
DC Hanna-Barbera.
that was the
crossover.
best.
I think it was Harley Quinn and the Banana Splits.
Whoa.
Like, they were, like,
Have you
hardcore
not heard
ones.
about any of those, Tyler?
I've heard about some of them.
Because some of them are
The
end up
Scooby-Doo one.
being-
The Scooby-Doo one was cool.
Right now in Batman,
Magilla Gorilla was cool.
they did a Aquaman Jabberjaw. I
Yeah.
haven't read that, but I want
Yeah.
to. Flash Speed Buggy, where like Speed Buggy's like a body horror situation where this
Whoa.
doctor gets fucking like changed into like Speed Buggy because he's fucking around with the Speed Force.
Yeah.
That seems cool.
Or my favorite
Green
is
Lantern Space Ghost. I haven't read that one yet, but
dude, that sounds amazing.
yeah, right?
I have a Green Lantern graphic novel around here that's pretty fucking good. I'll borrow it to you, sir. My favorite one was Elmer Fudd and Batman.
Yeah, that's
Because it's from the perspective of Elmer Fudd.
Mhm.
So when you start reading the comic, it's written also in a noir style where Elmer Fudd is basically just a normal dude, and like
Everybody's normal,
Daffy
like-
Duck is just a normal guy, Bugs Bunny's just a normal guy, but they
Buck
look
Teeth.
like caricatures of their animal characteristics.
Bugs got like mutton chops or something.
Well, Bugs is like buck teeth and he had
Buck teeth.
longer face, and he's like talking about like, it's this and this, Doc.
Yeah.
Porky's the bartender.
So
he's
he's
doing
a bartender.
Like he's doing a
Fat guy.
Cagney. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes sense because noir and Cagney.
And you see like just all these Gossamer, the big furry red Looney Tune, is
Yeah.
like just a big biker dude with like a bunch of facial hair and stuff. But it's awesome because in the beginning of the comic, you're reading it and it's narration from you find out to be Elmer because it's written in his speech impediment because it's like Dwayne comes down harder than I've ever felt it before.
Aren't
And,
his,
like
aren't
he's
his onomatopoeias like done with his?
yeah.
like,
So
inflections
instead
and-
in Batman, it's like pow and biff. But Elmer Fudd, it's like wow, and it's some of the best because when you read it, all you can think of is his voice. So you're just like, oh, this is juxtaposition to its greatest.
They,
It's so good.
right now in Batman, like they're doing an arc. It's called Nightmares. You know, KNIGHT Mares.
Nightmares.
And it's like it's the whole arc is Bane trying to like the whole. It's issue 60 something now, but the whole thing has been you find out is just Bane trying to figure out how to fucking or just meticulously breaking Batman essentially.
Mhm.
But anyway, he gets knocked out at the end of one issue by his alternate dimension dad, who's Batman.
Oh,
the Flashpoint
yeah,
Batman.
I didn't know if you're talking about Bane or Batman getting knocked out. Continue.
Anyway, so like these last few issues have been like him having these like nightmares and shit. Not the most recent issue, but the most recent one I read was 67, and it's a low key sequel to the Elmer Fudd issue, where he's chasing this guy who's in like a trench coat and a hat and like this mask with like a weird face on it, and throughout Gotham, and it's mostly silent. Like there's no dialogue for most of the issue, and except for some onomatopoeias and stuff, and the person he's chasing is constantly going beep beep, and he's chasing Roadrunner, yeah,
Holy shit.
and it like ends up going through like Porky's bar again and shit like that, and
One of the menu items at Porky's Bar was the Suckin'
Sucker and Succotash.
Yeah, Succotash. I've never tried Succotash.
There's a
And,
lot of good stuff.
But anyway, like at the end of the issue, like he finally catches him or whatever. He was like, he didn't say anything except for beep beep, or no, he was like, what was Wile E. Coyote's full name?
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, but it was
but
like a full name, Edward Coyote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like this murder victim that he stumbled across right away, and it was Roadrunner, they chase, but then like the only thing he was saying was beep beep, and like, but he rips off the mask and it's Joker, but
Oh,
that's like,
That's
yeah,
still
Okay.
it was
really good.
awesome.
what
It
ones
was so
haven't they
good.
done? Have they done like a Speedy Gonzalez?
No,
No.
Like, because that would be funny too, where he just goes, "Andale, arriba." But even though he's
yeah,
like
he's
really
yeah, those are
stereotypical.
the Looney Tunes, because they have Looney Tunes and they have
Hanna-Barbera.
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 So they did like what?
DC.
One wasn't one of them Snagglepuss and somebody
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Snagglepuss, because they did a series for him
Wacky
too.
Racers, was that? A
Yep.
Hanna-Barbera?
It was like a Mad Max style.
But
That's
Well, that
dope.
was a series actually.
yeah,
I
they
think.
did their own standalone Wacky
yeah,
Racers.
but it
where
was like a Mad Max
more.
style thing.
Was it more modern too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
it
called
was.
Wacky Raceland.
That's cool.
And they did Scooby Apocalypse, which is Scooby Doo, and it's like a zombie apocalypse type situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Scooby, instead of talking, has like this machine that relates what he's trying to say through like emojis, kind of. It's kind of cool.
Oh, is that the one that?
Flintstones is like really good. It was like do a lot of like social commentary and shit like that filtered through fucking Flintstones.
What
It
about
was really good.
Jetsons?
Jetsons,
I
they
think they
did.
They had to run a that.
Yeah, they did Jetsons.
Well,
And they have Future Quest, which was like Johnny Quest, fucking Space Ghost, Birdman, Herculoids, yeah, like
Just
all
like-
that.
all the classics.
That's cool.
So since we're talking about comic book stuff, why don't we talk about comic book movies? Maybe give her toe a little Snagglepuss itself.
Comic book movies?
Like
Snag that post. Too.
Broadshow and I don't know how far you are into it, but you're reading the Inkle.
Yeah.
That was a Jodorowsky and Mobius joint venture.
Yep.
And at one point, Nicholas Winding Refn wanted to approach Jodorowsky as like making the film adaptation of the Inkle, which would have been a really big endeavor because it's like on the scope of Dune.
Because they
and, like,
they
the Fifth
used a lot
Element.
of their ideas and visual ideas from the version of Dune they were gonna make
Yeah.
for the Inkle.
Mm-hmm. And then like it's as grand a scope as Dune would be because it's like jumping full bore into like the Fifth Element on steroids, or even like going more deep. Like you see that world of the Fifth Element, like the world that he lives on, like Corbin Dallas lives in that like city.
okay,
It would just be the majority of it in that crazy city and all of the crazy shit that's there.
And
can
I don't
tell
know
you
if
guys something?
I don't know if this is like the origin of this trope or just a kind of earlier example, but it's one of those situations where it's like the literal like the high society lives in a higher level than the lower does, and it's like a whole kind of
And it's like there's a truly high society. It's like almost, what was that, like Altered Carbon? It was similar
Yeah.
to that too.
Altered Carbon. Even like Alita has that
Alita.
too.
Mhm.
Like
AI
a lot of shit
kinda
has
had
that.
it.
Yeah.
a lot of.
That's why I
anime
was
stuff
wondering,
that.
like, where it was like if
Blade
maybe
Runner,
that's where the trope
2049?
comes from. Because the Inkle was very influential.
Can I tell you guys something?
Sure.
No,
I don't know that I've ever seen The Fifth Element all the way through,
Really?
from beginning to end.
I
Anytime I've ever watched that movie, I have no interest. It doesn't.
Really?
It does.
What parts do you get
nothing
up to?
for me?
Have you like seen it in pieces, or have you
Yeah,
just
I've
like
seen-
watched it?
I've seen
Would you be able
enough
to like?
scenes and clips and pieces. I don't know if I've ever seen that opera singer scene.
last time I
Um,
saw that movie was so long ago. I don't even remember it.
Last time that I
Really?
actually remember
Yeah.
watching that movie was when it was on
Is
like
it Luc Besson?
TNT or
I don't remember.
Sci-Fi or
director?
something when I was like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good funky film.
Okay, I'm glad
It's
you like
fun.
it.
It's fun.
That's
It
one.
is
That's
fun.
one that I just leave to the side and like, if by now, if almost 30 years into my life, if I haven't grabbed onto it by now, I don't know if I ever will. Or maybe my mind needs to just like reframe in a few years or decades more down the line. I'll be like, yeah, I guess Fifth Element's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's done by Luc Besson.
I don't think it's bad. I
Yeah.
don't get.
And
anything out of it.
he did Le Professional, or The Professional, Leon, I guess
Mhm.
it was called in France, with Jean Reno and Gary Oldman. And Gary Oldman plays the bad guy in The Fifth Element. And he's somewhat the bad guy, and he like invents this gun that like finds its target and shit.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy, and has like a comb over, but
Yep.
like a weird piece, like a clear plastic shell on his head.
Yes, it is a very weird movie.
And then there's a lot of interesting concepts in it, like Ruby Rod. The whole point of him being there was like to be on radio, like live at all times. And he's like announcing what's happening on the radio, like when there's like action going down. He's like, "Oh man, I'm hiding behind a pool table. I don't know what's happening." He's like has this like really jumbled way of talking. I love it.
Chris Tucker.
Such a weird cast of characters.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
it was a definitely interesting to say the least. Like again, I haven't seen it for fucking so long,
Really?
but
You know what we should be talking about
What?
for those sweet hits of relevancy.
Endgame.
Well, all right. I was gonna say Sonic the Hedgehog, but if you want to talk about Endgame, I guess we'll
Well,
talk
yeah,
about
let's talk about
Sonic.
Let's
first.
do it. Let's do a quick Sonic. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah. Where is Boo Boo in there? Not in that picture.
But Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog
Just
with
got a trailer for that.
Ben Schwartz, James Marsden,
Jim Carrey.
Jim
Jim
Carrey. What's that other dude? Like in the trailer, there was the other army guy that was there. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
He was he's in other stuff.
Isn't he fucking Faust? Not Faust. What the fuck? What name am I looking for in Legends of Tomorrow? He's goddamn.
Felix Faust is in it.
Is that who he is then? Maybe I was just writing
I
him
don't
an idiot. All right.
I know what movie he was in, and I can look him up real quick.
Tell me, sweet syrup. Tell me, Mrs. Buttersworth.
I think he was in either Rookie of the Year or Angels in the Outfield, and I'm pretty sure it was Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, one of them great '90s sports movies.
Yeah,
He's played a lot of bad guys. He was also in. No, he wasn't in Nip Tuck. I'm thinking about the guy from Fantastic Four.
his name is Neil McDonough.
Oh yeah, Neil McDonough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damien Dark.
Damien Dark. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you know who all's in Angels in the Outfield?
I know a good amount.
JGL,
Danny
Yep.
Glover.
Matthew McConaughey,
Yeah.
Danny Glover,
I don't remember
Tony
McConaughey
Danza.
being in there.
Christopher
Yeah,
Lloyd,
Danza. I remember.
Adrian Brody,
Don't remember that.
I don't remember him.
Neil McDonough. I was just gonna. There's a lot more, but I.
Well, to
I
be
have to
fair though,
circle
too,
through
the
them.
last time I saw that movie was before I knew
Dermot
any of those
Mulroney.
motherfuckers. That's a lot of people.
I know. I was like, Tony
Who's it
Danza-
directed by?
Directed.
That's
sec.
sometimes that's the real clincher.
I know it's a Disney joint. It was playing on Disney like all
Yeah.
the time.
Huh.
It was Disney.
And they made like Angels in the infield.
Yep.
And then Angels in the end zone.
Yep.
Yeah,
Flap your wings so the football can make it over the fucking goalpost.
His name was William Deere.
Okay.
I don't
You should
even
just
know.
like pull up this fucking this
Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Let's
trailer
react
right
to it.
now
How about
so
that?
We can, so we can discuss.
Fargonauts react.
Should I get the camera out
No.
and get your reactions?
Nobody should give that much effort to Sonic the Hedgehog. It doesn't
Sonic.
deserve it.
Sonic.
Sonic.
Scrawny the hedge bear.
Sonic the Sandhog.
Sonic the Sandhog.
This is Sean. All right, let's do this.
Official trailer from Paramount Home Entertainment with
Earlier today when I
Sega.
looked at this, there were 67,000 likes, 77,000 dislikes.
James Barnes.
was that a blue hair?
This
It's electrified.
blue
Fine.
hair. That's
The ring
instead of the
sound.
stars with the rings is kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. Beanbag, pile of sneakers, all worn out.
Boombox.
I wonder what he's actually going to
Gangster's
listen to in the music
Paradise.
in the movie. It's
And then
very
just-
very saturated, very very like the grass and everything around him is just like
And then sets off an EMP and just wipes out the Pacific.
40 out. I was telling Tyler
Seaboard.
today at work, like it's really weird to have a Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, and the like beginning of it is 5-star generals like sitting in the war room.
Oh, that
like-
guy too. The dude from
Yeah, he
what's
was
the fuck? Battlestar.
and Fargo.
Yeah. Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't ever say his name. They don't call him Robotnik or Eggman. They just call him the Doctor. So I guess we're waiting to find out about that. God, he's horrifying.
Yeah, it's just the legs, man. The legs just kill me.
They're too
It's
lean.
the face.
And the face.
The teeth.
Yeah. Well, the eyes.
The eyes being separate. And oh, God, it looks so weird. He's got a pudgy belly.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
fat in the middle.
to be fair, like OG Sonic had a little paunch belly.
Yeah, but OG Sonic had a very specific
But he was also
design
very
to
tiny.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like it all fit together. This is
He wasn't, like a proportionate
It looks like
child.
Mini-Me in a costume.
Right. More Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey.
Portal.
The ring portal. That's a Genesis.
It's awful.
Hello.
Nothing is moving at all. It's not super speed. It's fucking
Yeah, it's
time
not
stopping.
it's not flash time.
No.
I'm gonna see this movie.
Oh,
Well, I'm
of
gonna
course.
see it.
Oh, of course.
And
I'm
then
gonna
we
see
have
it.
this right here.
Is that a
Oh, not
child
just
in your
this.
bag?
I did laugh at this.
Yeah.
Just not because it's Sonic.
I like Ben Schwartz. Guy who plays Sonic.
I just like his delivery. This is a
Jean-Ralphio?
fun idea.
Sean Ralphio's dope.
Not your child.
And then we have this right here.
Yep.
Full on Robotnik.
I think that tube that he has is him figuring out a way to get back. Because if you go back and look, you can see, like I was saying about like the giant. Oh my goodness, Jontron! But yeah, like the very very end of that trailer, if you look behind Jim Carrey, it's all
Mushroom clone.
giant mushrooms.
Yeah, he's like either shrunk or he's in a different dimension.
Nah, he's in a different dimension for sure.
He's
Or-
in the Sonic dimension.
Yeah, he's in wherever Sonic actually comes from, whether they're going to call
Yeah.
it, like, whatever the fuck they'll call it.
Genesis.
Mobius is what they should call it. But
Green Hill Zone.
no, that's
No, that's
where they are.
yeah.
He's the
Oh, yeah.
James Marsden is the sheriff of Green Hill,
But he said like SFPD.
Green
or
Hills?
something
Yeah, I
like
said
that.
SFPD.
which is weird.
San
So that
Francisco
it's some
Police Department.
yeah, the Pacific Northwest, I guess. So maybe
Yeah.
Green Hills is like a
Township,
suburb of
yeah.
township somewhere around San Francisco.
So yeah,
But-
what are your gripes? I guess I don't know.
Oh, I think we made them pretty clear.
I
The legs, the
Do it.
face.
These are things that bug me, but am I really gonna like get that upset about any video game
Setting
movie?
back video game movies another
No.
20 years.
No.
I mean, I'd want them to maybe stick true to the one side or the other, like either the Adventure Sonic or the original small, tiny little guy
You realize? You
with
realize?
the socks and everything.
Yeah, right.
Why did they have
What
to make him look?
socks?
A completely his
Well, whatever
little-
his
over
bunched
his
up
sneakers.
socks over his sneakers were.
Yeah.
That
In the
was-
original.
That's just part of the shoes.
How do you know?
I don't think it was. I think it was his socks.
Because I've been a Sonic fan for years
I
and
know.
years, and it's not something I publicly talk about because it's fucking embarrassing. But
Well, I was too. I still enjoy. me some
I
Sonic.
enjoy Sonic. I play
OG
Sonic. I have Sonic games.
Yeah.
Sonic.
The other thing I didn't think about until someone like I think they posted it on our Discord thing.
Yeah.
But about how like his EMP he produced an EMP from going so fast or whatever.
That's part of the trailer, though. We
And
don't
then
know if
wipes
that's
out-
if
wipes
it's a real
out
thing,
Right, or if it's him that's responsible for wiping out the
or if it's
electricity.
Robotnik, and then
Yeah.
Robotnik finds out
On
that
the-
there's
I think
this.
that might be a. I think that might be a bait and switch.
Yeah, Pacific Seaboard. If it was Sonic that did it, he potentially killed a lot of people.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah,
Air traffic control goes
Yeah.
down, and people are just like,
Yep.
"We've been in the air for 4 hours. This goddamn hedgehog."
Life support systems and
Yeah.
shit like that, and
Security systems at banks and all this. Oh yeah.
Sonic,
Sonic, you're bad for our world.
yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Shakes fist angrily.
And who knows? The trailer, they show you things. It's like a sizzle
They
trailer.
show you what
Yeah.
they want to show you.
Yeah, this
It
this
shows
is-
you some like stuff to get hyped about the film.
I really don't think that this is going to end up being indicative of tone, of plot, of anything. I think when you watch the movie, it'll be, like we said before, like big befuddled mess, little bits and pieces of like an aspect of this scene was fun, but the scene itself wasn't fun. But like some of
Yeah.
the choices they made or yada yada, and like we'll just walk out of it being like, wow, that was an effort. We'll say that much. Like
I would
millions of dollars did go into this, and
I would have far rather them just like have cartoony looking Sonic.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to make him look
Just
more
like
quote unquote
CG.
realistic.
When
Like-
they did the Woody Woodpecker live
Yeah.
action film, have
Yep.
you seen that? Where it's like
I've seen
they
trailers.
couldn't define like what Woody Woodpecker was. Was he like a realistic
Yeah.
woodpecker,
was he a real woodpecker? That
or was he just a cartoony like thing? Like what? I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Right.
I think that Sonic should look
choices here.
just like he does in
In the
Wreck-It
game.
Ralph, like that CGI
Yeah.
cartoony
Yeah.
Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure Sonic.
Especially since it's like
Oh, I don't care about
Since
what
he's
design they
probably
use. It's
coming
just, it's gotta
from-
be one or the other. Like
coming from his own world, maybe. So it doesn't matter if he looks cartoony or different.
oh my fucking god! What if when you go through the portal and like from Sonic's world to our world? Because in that scene in the trailer where he throws out the ring,
Yeah.
it's leading to another space on Earth. You can see a farmhouse and
Yeah.
like a truck behind the
Yeah,
portal.
yeah.
But what if when you go through the portal, there's a design change where Sonic actually looks a lot closer to regular Sonic, and he only looks this fucked up because he's in our world, and in our world, like you know what I'm talking about?
God, I
How-
wish.
There's what other movie is that where like animated characters come through from their animated side to our real side, and they
Space
are
Jam.
sure, or what there's different
There's a lot of
examples of like
that. Yeah.
that design. So then maybe that's why Robotnik looks different
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
is when he goes over to that other side, that's his design change. He's still the same person. Nothing physically about him changes, like other than his appearance. That's,
And
And
that's a neat idea.
He's trapped. He's trying
I'd
to
be
find
okay
his
with
way back.
that.
yeah, that's a way to cheat, to give the audience like, okay, so we actually did get like a decent looking Sonic and not this fucking, there's a reason for him to look like an abomination.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like in that sense, you could be like you could save that moment to like the third act when they're trying to get Sonic back to his home world, and then you have like these story beats that line up with like payoffs of like what the audience really wants to see
Right.
is Sonic doing loops and going fast down Green Hill Zone
Gotta-
and doing
gotta
crazy
go
cool
fast.
stuff.
This is an origin for the games. Hear me out. I'm going crazy here. This is an origin for the games. End of the third act. Sonic, Dr. Robotnik are having their big battle. Robotnik's just been building robots and been trying to capture and study and stop Sonic for this entire time. Now it's kind of changed because, like I said before, maybe he like finds out that those power rings are like how he gets from dimension to dimension, or they're a source of power or something.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, James Marsden and the chick and Sonic are like, well, we can use the ring at this place or at this certain time or with some of like maybe Robotnik's technology to get you back to your world.
Mhm.
And then when Sonic goes through, either Eggman follows him deliberately or also accidentally gets sucked in. And then that's a one-way trip. So now Sonic and Robotnik are both back in Sonic's world. And that's when Robotnik goes crazy, loses his hair, starts growing a bigger mustache, starts building robots in that world where they're like bees and ladybugs and like just
Mechanical
Bees!
animals.
or he starts like mechanizing
animals.
bee animals in that world like they
Mhm.
happen in the games. So
Yep.
like at the end of this movie, where Sonic 1 starts, where Eggman is like in that world and he's the antagonist and he's like, oh fuck you, and maybe that's I'm making more sense of this movie than anybody in the world should. Like I wish the writers had thought about this, because that is a perfect way then of, if you have a sequel, that's why Eggman's looking for those Chaos Emeralds, is
Mhm.
because they're going to be the way that he can either get home and get out of this crazy fucking place
Then that would introduce the Chaos Emeralds too, because
in the second movie.
in
Hopefully
the
not
second
in this
movie.
first
No,
one.
the
That's
rings were kind of like, I think the rings are the main thing in this one because
the
they're
MacGuffin or
portals.
something.
Yeah, they're being featured in the trailer, so it's like there's got to be something with them.
They're around the Paramount logo. The sound is everywhere. He throws out like, yeah. I think it's going to end up being a MacGuffin to some point, where the power rings, because that's what they're called. They're not just rings; they're power rings.
Mhm. So those are going to be a feature in this one, and then yeah, that leads you into the second one where
Dude.
it's Chaos Emeralds, and then maybe James Marsden's character gets trapped with Sonic, and they have to help him get back to the real world in the second movie.
Or yeah, maybe it's Robotnik, James Marsden, and Sonic.
Yeah, that all
I'd be
get
okay
like
with that.
sucked in.
What if James Marsden becomes Tails?
I was gonna say, when James Marsden goes through, he either becomes a two-tailed fox or a fucking dreadlock echidna.
Do we know his name in this movie? Is it like something per hour?
That'd be
Oh my
hilarious.
god! If they pull a fucking Christopher Nolan,
Miles
and he's like,
per hour.
Miles, or somebody just calls him like, or his nickname. Somebody calls him in the real world like, "Sup, Tails?" Or like, because he lost a like coin flip back in the day. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Or
Why
pull a JGL at the end of
Oh, you should
at the
use
end of-
Robin. Yeah.
at the end of Dark Knight Rises,
Miles?
and just
I
be
like
like,
that.
he's
They're
like, yeah, my real name's Miles.
or Sonic the entire time, like he's like that sheriff, whatever to you, and he's like going by his middle name as his surname or something, and he's like, "Hey, you helped me through this adventure. What's your real name?" Miles. Cut your credits.
God,
Dude, well, how did we just make a better Sonic movie?
Easily.
it's easy. It's pretty
Is it?
easy.
Comparatively.
If it's that easy, why
It's
didn't
easy.
they do it? Is my fucking
because corporate
They
monkey
have
mucks.
studio writers that they have on
hang-up?
retainer
You
write
also
these.
have Sega, whose logo appears in the fucking trailer.
Also,
And like,
look at what Sega's done with Sonic games in the last 25 years.
Look at Sonic 06.
the
When they
only-
tried to do like human-looking Robotnik and human-looking other characters.
Robotnik looked fine in that.
Sonic
It was-
Boom.
Yeah,
Sonic Boom's cool.
yeah. No, it's not.
Which one? What's the? Is it no the cartoon? Whatever Sonic.
Sonic
Oh,
Boom. They made a cartoon.
The
of
cartoon's
Sonic
not awful.
No, I like the
Yeah.
voice acting and everything in it, and the comedy is pretty good.
Meta at times where they will like. I think there's an episode where it's like a spoof of Misery,
Yep.
where a character
They
who's,
spoof
like,
on a lot of
represents
shit.
The Sonic fandom like kidnaps Sonic or something. and it's
Yeah.
like, here, Sonic, eat your chili dog. And he's like shoving it in his face.
They do a lot of funny comedy on there. And Travis Willingham's Knuckles, and
Yeah, but he's been Knuckles in a lot of the games.
I just know him from that show. I've never played Sonic Boom.
But like Sonic Mania was good, and Sonic Colors was cool, and Sonic Generation.
I don't remember the last one I played. It must have been Mania.
So those are some recent titles that were good. But
Yeah, they don't know. Sega doesn't know what to do with that character, and
They still
neither does Paramount. All right, well, moving on from that.
Should we do
Yeah.
Thrones or Endgame?
Well, I was gonna say let's try
Endgame.
Let's try and because we can.
We all saw it.
Yeah.
Roger, how
let's
was
try
going
and
to
stay
how,
brief.
how was
We're
going
gonna-
to it though? And I just want to know how.
That was awesome. It was 3 in the morning.
3 in the morning. How was that?
Yeah, that's-
Cool. There's people there. There's a decent amount of people there.
I'd imagine.
It's like when you go to like a popular movie that's in its like 3rd or 4th week, and like there's decent it's pretty full, but there's still a decent amount of open seats.
Mhm.
That's what that was like. I of course bought one of the conjoined reclining seats that we have. So because no one's gonna buy the one next to me, so I had the super lounge.
Super comf.
Just recline both of them and just fucking.
Yeah, boy.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good time.
I would have like reclined both of them and got to the front and like gone like this up by the feet of the legs, just like yeah, I love this.
Oh, it's a little comfy.
Yeah, just like giggle like that. People are like, I'm out of here. This guy's weird.
Okay.
Sounded too cute.
Spoilers. We talking about Endgame, Game of Thrones.
Spoilers.
5, 4,
Spoilers.
3,
Spoilers.
2,
Spoilers.
1.
Spoilers.
They saw it.
Iron Man is dead.
Iron Man died.
Captain America is geriatric.
Black Widow did.
Black Widow dead.
Vision dead.
Oh yeah, Vision.
Yeah, that was
dead,
weird that they never
He's not a real person.
touched on Vision at all. Nobody said his name during this movie. Maybe somebody did say his name, but
Scarlet Witch kind of let it be known.
She did. She's like, you took everything from me.
oh yeah, which was
And then they both are when she was talking to Hawkeye at the lake.
Lets her powers grow and shit.
Yeah, that too.
well, she was talking about Gamora and Scarlet Witch or Black Widow because her powers are connected to the Infinity Stone. So she was basically able to be like, oh, they're both in the soul world. They're fine. They're okay. They've given me a little nudge from the other side. They're doing good.
Scarlet Witch said that?
That's what you meant by that is Black Widow and Gamora
Oh.
Yeah.
because those are the two people
Because
who are.
Vision's not real.
Well, I know, but she had a connection with him in Infinity War.
Well, yeah. Well, and she
P and V connection.
and she will again in their stupidly named Disney Plus TV show WandaVision.
Yeah, that's not good.
Wow, that sounds like a classic like 50s
Yeah,
show
You
or
know
like
what
a
you should call it?
TV.
Instead,
No, WandaVision.
get a whole nother demographic in there. If you want that German audience, you call it VW.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what we can talk about in game that we haven't already spoken about to each other, and that like everybody in the internet hasn't already covered it and had like just
Well,
killed it. But
let's just let's reactions to a few things.
Mhm.
How about reaction to
Going in,
Slovenly Thor?
Loved it.
Okay,
It was great because we never got much of not Heimdall,
Volstagg.
Volstagg. We never got very much of Volstagg.
We not got Volstagg.
In the way that we want Volstagg. To me, the best Volstagg moment is Ultimates, where it's actually Loki.
Yeah.
But it's him sitting in the like Americana diner, and he's appearing to Thor as he does normally, but to everybody else, he just looks like a dude just like eating a meal. But he's got like 18 courses, and he's like just this big old guy, not like obese in that way, but just he's a powerhouse. And it was cool to channel a little bit of Volstagg.
Yeah, a little Volstagg. How about the choice of killing Thanos right away?
I didn't expect it. It was cool.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. The aftermath, like right at the beginning, like you pick up right from the last movie, and you're like, "What are we gonna do?"
Thor's obviously the one most affected.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff pent up, but he just does not.
He thinks that he failed for not hitting the head. Yeah.
Which
I think it served the story fine. I don't know if like it's the right decision thematically or whatever, but the story wise, like okay.
well, I think it is the right decision thematically, or one of the right decisions. Who because tonally it still sets that mood for right after that is when we get to have a little bit of time in the 5 years after the snap, which I think was really really good to have. I know some people have complained about like that first hour, half an hour, 45 minutes of like the scenes with Black Widow having the conversations with everybody else via telecom, and like us being in that time. People are like, all right, we know what happened, get to it. But I really enjoyed that because it lets you sit and feel like, yeah, this is really bleak. This is really desolate.
That I'm okay with, but just
I have a little.
they could just knowing just the fact that knowing that Thanos snapped again and destroyed the stones was a cool concept.
Right.
And then using that like heat signature or energy signal to go and find him again, and then Captain Marvel just jumping and like, I'm gonna go kill him. I don't know if it like served any purpose other than like, all right, we killed him and he's dead for good, and like, there's no point in killing him. He was like pretty much dead and crippled anyway.
Part of it was to show that like
they were just angry.
Like a martyr for his cause. Like
yeah,
it's like I did what I wanted to do.
What it reminded me was the John Doe ending at 7 when he's like, this is what I wanted the whole time. Like one less atom. Like just destroy me.
It creates more desperation. For the other characters. More bleakness and more desperation because of the fact that the stones.
I would say they lost twice then because they gave into that. They gave into that anger.
Thor did.
Thor, well, yeah, he's like, oh, for the head.
But the entire team did, because they were all there, guns a blazing, and then all of a sudden they got blue balls. Like, they were supposed to have some resolution on that, and that's not even like a resolution. That's just cutting things short. Which the audience reaction to that from the viewing that I saw was not the reaction that I had to it. People were laughing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when Thanos got his head cut off, people were laughing.
Yeah.
And then whatever line it is where Thor's like, I went for the head. People like were laughing at that. Like the entire theater was laughing.
I don't think it was tonally. It was not meant to be a funny part.
Exactly, and I was like,
see how it could be.
I don't know why you're laughing. I can see how it would be too, but you've got to be pretty thick to not get what tone they're trying to.
It's kind of like which this was tonally meant to be funny. Like when Hulk quick punches Thor in Avengers. Yeah. Like that's the sudden, quick, violent.
Yeah.
There's comedic timing to that. Yeah. This was like a very somber, very realistic moment of it. It should be setting in that Thor just, it doesn't matter who it is, he just straight up murdered a dude. And like, when he was kind of like defenseless too.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think Thanos felt though in that moment? Like
He felt he won. He
No,
doesn't care.
How do you? Let me finish my sentence. How do you think he felt about seeing everybody that he had just seen in that previous battle, and then this random bitch who puts him in a headlock and is like, "Speak, come on now."
It was.
He has
It
no
was.
idea who the fuck this person is, and or what connection
might
she
know.
has.
It was like 2 or 3 days later, or what? What was it?
That's like 5 years later.
No, when they kill Thanos, it's like a couple days later.
A couple days later.
Oh yeah, and then that jumps.
Because Rocket talks about the signature, the energy.
20.
Like
Yeah,
when he
A
snaps.
few months, I think.
It was something like that. It's like until 2 days ago we saw this happen,
It
and
was
a couple months.
A little bit of time.
Because it took them time to figure it out.
Mhm.
But Thanos might know who Captain Marvel is because she's been up in space for.
Yeah, he might, but we are not told
Yeah.
that as an audience. So as far as we know, he's never met this person before, and now she has him in a headlock and is like, "Speak, you should be threatened by me."
Yeah.
Be like, okay.
he just wanted to make some food. He was like dashing some spice, Mrs. Dash in there, just
Before we get to that like elephant in the room.
okay.
The 5 years later part.
I've jumped
I'll give you a little behind the stuff.
behind the stuff. Here we go. Bracho's behind the stuff.
You know, it's symbolic to have Cap take over the
Avengers.
support group.
Oh, supports.
You know, like doing like leading a support group like Falcon did. It's kind of like a way to honor him. But one of the guys in there.
I know both Jim Starling and the director.
Yes. Thanks.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah.
We're thoughts over now.
Hey, jumping the gun of the stuff.
Creator of Thanos
Yep.
and Drax and whatever. Fucking Jim Starlin. He's got a goatee, glasses, bald man, and he's got a hat on. And then
He does. He kind of looks like he looks like he should be an AA.
Yeah. And then Joe Russo, one of the directors.
Mm-hmm.
So behind the stuff.
You probably have more behind the stuff.
I'm sorry.
But they're good behind the stuff.
Was it behind the stuff?
Yeah, they're creators of Thanos. That's a cool. That's a cool thing. I think they should have done more stuff.
Behind the stuff. Here we go. When Jim Starlin was first coming up with Thanos, he kind of made him. He did like take inspiration from like Jack Kirby's New Gods, and like when he first made Thanos,
Darkseid.
He was kind of skinnier, and made him made him look more like Metron, one of the other New Gods. And then he brought it into his like editor or whatever, and he's like, "Dude, if you're gonna rip off the New Gods, why not rip off the best one?" And then we got Thanos.
Star Fox.
Magic great powers. Then we got Thanos looking like a rip off of Darkseid.
That's a weird character where he's like, "I'm going to make you love me."
He's the date rape fucking
Whoa.
And he's the good guy.
He's the good guy. Thanos' brother.
I love that.
Guy.
I love that. Sometimes he doesn't even know that he does it too.
So the elephant in the room I was talking about, which a lot of people I've seen online have been commenting about, Captain Marvel.
Her being there, the stakes are not high.
Didn't add anything.
It ranged from what was even the point of having her there to there's an article I read on comic book resources. That was a good one too. Where it's just like they don't know what to do with her.
I think that's the same thing with her comics.
Yeah, it was like, okay, here we have this like overpowered person who can feasibly, like, from the way they want us to have her, can feasibly just come in and fuck shit up. How do we use her without her becoming the fucking like Deus Ex Machina?
She could have put on the gauntlet too. Like,
what? So they used her very sparingly. She was in like the first 20 minutes.
No, she was like in total. She probably is lower 20s, like, I don't mean teens.
I just mean within what section of the movie she was in.
Yeah, beginning and end.
The first 20 minutes of the movie, Not totally the entire time.
She says
some of it.
like not even a page of dialogue.
Yeah, she shows up.
Smell you later.
She does her sassy like, "Well, I'm strong. I'm very strong. I'm more strong. I'm not intimidated by you."
And
Fuck
that
yeah.
haircut, I know which one they were going for.
Yeah.
I know what that is supposed to evoke. It
Yeah.
does not evoke that shit. It's like a fucking.
There's no
seared knife.
satellites.
She does.
I demand a parley with your supervisor.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, so we see her there. You know, like in the end credit scene of fucking Captain Marvel, she shows up, fucking whatever. And then, you know, and then we get her little, from the trailer, you get her little sassy little smile, and Thor fucking throws his hammer, gets his hammer. I like this one.
And she's like,
that'd be Thor.
So we just have her being like arrogant for most of that. And then, to be fair, also, I think we brought this up,
just in conversation.
but how they filmed this movie, they filmed Endgame before they filmed Captain Marvel. So she didn't really have a grasp on the character yet. It was just kind of here it is.
Her dialect and her like way of speaking was kind of like, I liked her the way she spoke her dialogue.
Yeah.
It sounded more like serene and like there's no signs of security or satellites anywhere.
Yeah.
And she just has this like monotone, like kind of calming presence.
Yeah.
That I kind of was like, that's cool.
That
I just
could be
like the
from
way you're
her
talking.
Years of
Yeah.
doing shit.
Where she's just like just saying things and just in a peaceful
she's
tone.
Definitely a more like well-rounded character in the Captain Marvel movie, I guess. Comparatively.
I think she's bouncing around in that film. Like
Well, yeah,
she
she
can't
does.
get a good handle of the character.
She does, but she's like
It's supposed to be a fish out of the water or fish out of water story, but she's like getting some human
at least
concepts.
a character in that movie. Like in this, she's like a non-character.
Yeah, they kind of shoehorned her in there.
Let's just say comparatively.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's just say
They
relative, because
they definitely shoehorned her in this just to have her be like, this is the people you should be now following in the next phase, and she's like in there, and she's like, look at me.
The one thing I like
Pay
with
attention.
her was the little interaction with Spider-Man.
Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me?
Yeah, they have a pass in the comics, so to see them together, and then her little hey Peter Parker, that's all.
Hey, I'm Peter Parker.
Yeah, like I like that. That was okay, but yeah, otherwise she was there first 20 minutes, and then fucking gone, and then pimps back in for final battle. That's about it.
Yeah, she was there at the beginning, and then after the 5 years for a little bit, she's like, "You won't see me ever again."
Yeah.
Like you won't see me for a very long time.
I'm kind of like, oh, that's fine. But like like the article says, it's like they don't know what to do with her because she is so just overpowered, which is the struggle movie companies have.
It's kind of
Warner
like the
Brothers
Hulk.
has had
It's kind of like with Hulk too,
with
though.
Hulk, but it's also the struggle like Warner Brothers has had with Superman over time because people just look at him like, oh, cool, you got all the powers, like.
That's the trouble of having a super crazy, powerful person like that.
Thankfully, with Superman, we have actual like character studies of why or of who he is and why he is the way
He has philosophy behind him.
Yeah.
I don't think Captain Marvel has a philosophy behind her.
not in the MCU, but yeah.
Oh, hardly in the comic books. I haven't read her most recent runs. So she was very much kind of like even less so like she is in the comics, where she's a strong supporting person, but
I still wholeheartedly believe like it would have been way cooler just instead of her showing up in that last second, but like having Adam Warlock just zip down instead.
oh boy,
That would be
so goddamn confused.
It would be like, who the hell's this guy? I thought it was gonna be Captain Marvel, but they're like, no, we subverted your expectation.
Yeah. So then,
you want to subvert my expectation? Bring in old Horseface.
Horseface.
Oh my god, dude!
Guardians 3, man, perfect opportunity.
But imagine this: that scene at the end with, like, we already said spoilers, so fuck you if you're upset by now. But when Thor raises his hand and you think Mjolnir's gonna go to him, and it goes past him and goes to Cap, But if it went past Cap 2, who also has his hand out, and behind Cap is fucking old horse face, and he's like, "Sup, bros?" He's like,
Sup, dudes? I kaboom, and then he's fucking all Beta Ray Bill.
"Boom! I
Yep.
heard you needed me, son."
That'd be hilarious.
I feel like that'd be because they never went to. They did the little tease of like Doctor. What was his name? David.
McGillicuddy.
No, the alter ego of Thor in the good old days where he used to have his like cane and he would tap the cane and say like a special like phrase to become Thor.
Oh fuck, what's his name?
Yeah, Doctor. Whatever. Dr. David Hyde Pierce.
Dr. Zaius. I don't know.
This pisses me off too.
That'd be fun.
Y'all know I know things. So
I do.
this is a thing that
That's your
I'd
power.
like to see-
That's
I'd
your
like
power.
To see a Hulk movie that is like I think Ang Lee had some really good ideas in his movie of some of the more cerebral moments
Of Hulk?
That's when the Hulk gets really interesting to me. Is it's always fun to see him just being a powerhouse, like having a really good fight, but it's also almost always entertaining when you see the battle between the two psyches fighting for possession of this entity.
Yeah.
Where like when he's a Hulk, it'd be kind of cool to see a scene of like while he's just smashing stuff, we just like pan inside of his body, and then we're in this inner world where everything's like green, and Bruce Banner's in there, and it's all desolate, and he's like, "Fuck, I gotta get out of here. This is not pleasant."
He's trapped in there?
Or like when Bruce Banner's out about on the streets, and like somebody like bumps him or something, and he has that one moment, if like just maybe like where he got bumped, just like a reactive, like reflexive, like little Hulk out, and he's like keeping it together, or
Yeah.
have like I think setting up the leader was a really fun idea. And then sad that it never went anywhere because then you have a character who's all
Donald Blake.
I was right with the Dr. D.
Dr. Donald Blake.
But then you have a character who's all powerhouse, like strength, versus somebody who's completely mental.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean crazy. He's crazy, but he's mental abilities.
He's super smart.
Super smart, and he's telepathy or mind control or something. The leader.
Something that big brains do.
Yeah, and that'd be interesting because what if you have like Bruce Banner inside of the Hulk, who's trying to like, if the Hulk is surrounded by thousands of mind-controlled innocents in between him and the leader, or him and his opponent, and Bruce Banner's inside like, oh my god, this is a hair trigger. If the Hulk goes off and starts smashing all these people, I'm vilified forever. Doesn't matter if I take down this guy who's actually the bad guy, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he can't do anything about it. There's interesting evidence.
This comes to my next question.
Okay.
How'd you feel about Professor Hulk? Liked him?
Yeah, I'm sad that
I like that he was just corny as fuck.
He's corny, yeah. He's cringy.
Oh, Dad! And I was like, everybody in the theater was just like, oh, and I was like, that's the point. Like,
That is the point, but yeah. But I liked the duality.
yeah.
I do like the compromising of like, I saw him as a virus, but he's the cure, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the rage of the Hulk made a lot of sense. Like he was just this infinite rage that can be like uncontrolled, and he just goes off and does his own shit. And then having the compromise of melding the two, where it's like, all right, you have Banner's brain but Hulk's body, so you have restraint now, and you're just big. So you're just big Banner. Like you can do your stuff again, but like you're not as rageful and like angry.
It's like kind of neutered Hulk.
Well, they characterize him in this movie, it seems to me, as a melding of the two personalities, where you still have Bruce Banner's brain and sensibilities, but you have some
and his restraint. It's like his like understanding that he gets embarrassed when he sees his old self. Like, ooh,
he was definitely more Banner than Hulk.
that was me.
More Banner than Hulk, but there were some Hulk attitudes there where he was like more impulsive.
Yeah.
And he would act more on his like emotional side, because that's what the Hulk is. The Hulk is all just raw emotion and rage, and
he visually looked really good in this.
He did. They did a really good job. I mean, after their like Josh Brolin Thanos stuff, like yeah, they're getting it down.
And now that we know that they can do like Thanos and the Hulk, even before Professor Hulk, he still looked good. I think Avengers 1 would be the only one that maybe looked a little more rough.
The Thanos?
Still didn't look, no, the Hulk. still it didn't look awful and it didn't look bad.
Oh.
It did look better. But now, yeah, either fix the thing when that comes around and make him look good, or I'm ready for a fucking straight up Jessica Drew in the courtroom. Just
Not Jessica Drew.
What?
Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman.
Marvel's. There's a lot of very similarly named characters. That happens all the time.
Jessica Drew.
Walters.
Which makes me, for some reason, think Jessica Walters, and that's a weird.
Yeah, I can see where your mind went.
A green Jessica Walters. They don't let you keep bees in here. But I want to see a Jessica
She-Hulk.
Walters, She-Hulk,
She-Hulk.
of like Boston Legal meets like I don't know, The Good Guys or something. That Will Ferrell and Marky Mark movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want a lot of action in a She-Hulk movie. I want it to be fucking courtroom.
The
drama.
other guys, yeah. The other guys.
She's in there and she's grilling the testifier.
There's an image from a promo image from an unmade She-Hulk movie in the early 90s.
With China?
No. Very early 90s. Like, very early with Brigitte Nielsen.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
If you can find that picture, throw it up. It's out.
I probably won't. Oh, but maybe. I'll look for it.
Oh, it is it was just on a website, so you can probably it's probably out there. But yeah, that was a thing.
In her power suit.
No, yeah, she was just in her She-Hulkness.
I know, but or she has the leotard.
Pretty much.
it's either power suit or leotard for her. And
Yeah.
That's such a fun character.
You have any other things with Endgame?
5 years. We got 5 years later. The time travel.
We knew that was going to happen.
I know, but this is
How it worked?
It's a futile discussion. Time travel never makes sense.
Yep.
Let's get that out of the way.
Yep.
So, my understanding.
Especially when they throw in like the cap just being there at the end.
Which lined up with the Ancient Ones thing that helped me when I went back and thought about it. Like, I went, okay. But, because she was talking about, you go, you do this, you change time, divergent timeline. And then Hulk was like, yeah, I get that, but I mean, we're going to do this, and then we'll bring it back to where we got it from. So, because my hang-up was just like, okay, so...
That timeline doesn't exist.
Yeah, all these things, like the main thing being, like, Thanos from Guardians 1 time, and Nebula and whatever, them coming through into the past or into the future and fighting and them killing Thanos right there at the end there. And I was like, well, how does that then affect? But then I went back and thought about it. It was like, okay, so they're going back. So they'll put like the Power Stone back where it was before Quill gets there. So then then that whole thing won't happen and Thanos won't figure out about it and he won't go to the future.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The one question, so that's how it made sense to me was, okay, so they put it back before any of this shit happened.
Yeah.
And we're good. The one question I have that I hung up on was Loki.
Yeah, they erased that once they went back to the 70s, so.
Did they?
They had to have, because it wouldn't have...
Because he put it back, they put it back there back in the 70s.
Then all that stuff just doesn't matter. The stuff that they did after they went back to the 2012, and then they went back further to 1970, that erases the stuff from 2012.
Yep.
But they go back to 1970. They will go back to 1970 to put it back in 1970. They don't go back to 2012 at all.
I know, but so if they put it back in 1970, it's still there for the stuff in 2012 to still happen.
Yep, but they don't go back to that 2012 again to affect it. That's the thing. Okay. They're affecting it. It's erasing 2012.
Because I was thinking then too that could potentially be
an interesting Loki space thing.
What he's doing, like with the TV show he's got coming.
Yeah, it could be.
But I know that's supposed to be like about him in the past or whatever. But whatever.
Yeah, once you go back further, butterfly effect would affect it.
There's a line for that in the movie where before he meets the Ancient One, Hulk is reasoning out time travel, and he's like,
I kind of figured it all.
He's basically like, ignore like what you know from the movies.
Yeah.
From how I understand it, each time that you go back in time, no matter where you're going to, any other divergences you might have gone to are null.
Right.
The only time that matters is the one that you're in.
Right.
Because when you go to that time, every other time kind of gets just like muted.
And I shouldn't have posed this.
So then at the very end, when Cap goes back and replaces them all,
yeah,
everything is just 100% kosher. The timeline is exactly how it was. He lived back there as a second Captain America and just sat on the sidelines, let everything play out because he knew that things would get taken care of one way or another. And then either like came back through the time portal and just sat down on a bench, or knew that he'd have to be there at that certain time and went to the bench and sat down. It's like you said at the beginning, like.
But the thing is,
because we know that Cap fought himself, so it's like it's not when you don't replace your old self.
Again from comic book resources.
Sure. Shout out.
The title of the article is "The Russo Brothers Basically Just Teased Another Captain America Movie." So according to directors Joe and Anthony Russo, by Captain America bestowing a restored version of the vibranium shield to Sam, despite its destruction at the hands of Thanos, means Steve created a divergent timeline, potentially setting the stage for a future Captain America movie. Because since he went back, that changes things. Mm-hmm. So he did create a divergent timeline there. They said if Cap were to go back in the past and live there, he would create a branched reality, Joe Russo explained in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. The question then becomes, how is he back in this reality to give the shield away? Mm-hmm. So that's a thing.
There's questions.
Yeah, so that's I didn't even think about that. That was like one of the more obvious time travel what's, but I didn't even think about.
That's my big thing with that
also,
ending too.
Motherfuckers, we talked about this the other day. That was not the 70s he went back to stay.
It was the 50s.
It was definitely the 40s.
He
50s.
chose to then like at the end just jump to the 50s. He punched it in. He's like,
remember he took four PIM cartridges, PIM particle
PIMs.
cartridges.
Yep.
So the idea being it was the 3 spots they went back to, the 3
and one to get back. Yep.
And one to get back. Instead of using the one to get back, he had to go back.
One more back to the 70s. Yeah. One-way trip.
Because the car that drove by was old as fuck, and the old timey music.
Yeah.
He went dancing into the ice in 42.
40. I thought it was towards the end of the war.
Yeah.
So which was 40.
So he lived there. He lived there knowing that there was another Cap. Frozen.
Maybe he went back at the time where it was like a couple days after his other self went into the ice. Yeah. So he could just be like, hey, Margaret, because that's your real name, not Peggy. Listen, I know it's weird, but it's me. I'm your sweet little kissy boy.
And he had to basically just dish out the whole thing. He's like, I'm from the future. I know what happens. Yeah. I gotta lay low with you.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. He knows stuff works out without him being Captain America throughout that whole time, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And another interesting, it's not necessarily behind the stuff, but it's kind of more Easter eggy around the stuff.
Special stuff.
When it's something that someone noticed, which most of us were not paying attention to because we were paying attention to Cap. When he goes back to the 70s,
mm-hmm.
and you have and he sees Peggy talking with the one dude. What she's saying is something to the guy about waiting to hear back from.
It was an Agent Carter thing, I think.
From Braddock.
Yeah.
Which could be a hint at Captain Britain, Brian Braddock, who's they've talked about like bringing him and the other UK Marvel hero Black Knight into the fray.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be so cool.
So that could be either him himself or like his father or something. Also, Brian Braddock is the brother of Betsy Braddock, who is Psylocke in the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
So So that's a little hint that nobody kind of paid attention to because we were all like watching Cat being like,
The
Yeah.
other thing that I missed,
Give me
too,
those
because I was
titties.
too busy paying attention to everything else,
Yeah.
was the Namor tease twice.
the potential Namor tease, yes.
Probably Namor, because there's two lines almost back to back.
Yeah.
The first one is Wales in the Hudson,
Yeah.
which when I heard that I was like, that's probably just a weird side effect of like the
Yeah.
snap, whatever.
Yeah.
They're migrating because they're
half of their shit's gone. Yeah.
And
Yeah, fresh water.
and
He
then
talks about
Okoye
fresh
is,
water.
like the earthquake just off the coast of Africa in the Atlantic Ocean. But those two things were like within 5 minutes of each other.
What do we do about that? Like,
She's like,
the ocean?
Nothing. We do not.
So potentially Namor, yes.
Either because it's just an earthquake in the ocean,
Yeah.
they can't do anything about it, or maybe they know that they don't know what is out there, but they know something's out there. And they're not gonna. They're just gonna let it lie. Like they were Wakanda, where they were some sequestered away from the world forever, and they're maybe respecting that, where they're like, okay, that seems like maybe something out there. We're just gonna let them be.
In this potential Captain America Divergent timeline, it'd be really cool if they did like an Invaders thing. It's an old, it's a team that they were around in the 40s, and I guess like in the actual 40s, like some of them teamed up a couple times. But like it was a comic series that they did in like the 70s about a World War II era team that was Captain America, Bucky, the original Human Torch was like an android, and who you see in first Captain America one
at the Stark Expo.
Yeah, at the Stark Expo, there's a two with like a robot guy in a red.
Oh, cool.
Guitar. That's the original Human Torch.
Nice.
And then he has like a kid sidekick, Toro, who's like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Namor and Union Jack.
Union Jack.
Like a British guy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it'd be cool if in the Divergent timeline we had a little Invaders movie or something. It'd be cool. They could get Namor and some shit. But yeah, that was cool. The other thing that I had.
Any like Nebula stuff?
What about her?
Like just the weird fact that she could like hack into her own mind in the same time.
They're on the same frequencies. Like they're trans.
They're operating on the same like bandwidth or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just.
That they're operating off of. So
wasn't explained well enough in the movie for me.
Mixed signals,
but that's the thing.
You know, she would get signals from her.
With it being a comic book movie, with the time travel, with all these explainings, I'm like, whatever. We have wizards and android. Like I'm.
But just having her know that, it seems like a big plot hole to like. I just won't show up for this. I won't go along.
She wouldn't have known that because there's never been another occasion where she's been in the same space.
She knew like, well, we're not the only ones looking for the stones. I'm looking for the stones. Gamora is. Thanos is. Like, why would you come then? Just don't come. Just stay back.
Well, she didn't know that would happen until it did. Like,
also, why would there's no reason for her to stay behind? Like, even if there's so many occasions throughout time where your other self is out there looking for the stones. Don't let that stop you. That's always going to be the case, no matter where you are in time. There's always another version of you out there somewhere in time looking for the stones.
I'm just saying that that was one of the big convoluted messes of it. Other than the time travel, that was another kind of like tacked on thing that I was like, that's a plot device. That's just for Thanos to understand what they're doing.
Yeah, this leads to my other thing was some of the interesting story arcs or story things they did with it. Like Nebula is one of them, where it's a character that you've only seen a few times, but like this her versus past her really shows you how far she's come.
Yeah.
And to show this version of her from the first Guardians that's like fuck everything, fucking kill, get this shit, to her now where she actually like gives a shit about people and gives a shit about like the universe and all this shit, and her sister.
Yeah.
Especially.
Actually, I really like Nebula more than Gamora.
Well, yeah.
This movie made me love Nebula.
Yeah.
Just the fact that she like sticks around with these guys.
Yeah.
she finds a family with like Rhodey and all these guys, these
Yeah.
outcasts, and she's
Yeah.
like
Rocket.
playing around with them, and then like she's comforting Tony in the star, like
Yep.
the ship and stuff, and like
That-
giving him food and like
that
caring
was
for him.
That little bit with her and Tony just being on the ship, I love that.
Yeah,
They're-
same
they're
here.
playing-
They're
they're playing
Football,
she's like,
yeah.
Yes. What's fun?
I'd like to play again.
Oh.
I'd like to play again,
Because
please.
that's the competitive
Yeah.
part of her. She's gotta win.
See, you won. Good game.
And the next one that's kind of connected to that, in which kind of they feed back into each other, is Rocket. This was a character when we first met him that's a loner that shied away from like really like any
Accepting like a
social and personal
Yeah.
connections,
friendship.
and then he finally had it, and now it's all gone, and he's back to that place, but you see how much it affects him now, and
Yeah.
how like fucking just like
Rocket's another one that's so like subdued.
Yep.
Like it seems, but like once you find those little
There's a lot
nuggets,
going on
there's
with him.
there's nuggets of him like being so good, like him and Thor
Yep.
in 2015 when they go back to like Dark World time,
Yeah, that was good.
and like he's just like he's there to basically keep Thor on track. Like we gotta get this shit.
Well, that's this, and yeah, and it also plays into the other aspect, which I didn't think about until I read another article. It might have been CBR again, quite possible. There's so many articles, but it was about this kind of thing specifically. Rocket was a dude who Groot was his buddy, but then after he sacrificed himself and went back, he was a little kid, so it was like a kid. It was like his son essentially, because the last thing Groot said before he disappeared was "Dad," right?
Mhm.
So this is like it was having a fatherly whatever relationship with this, and now it's gone. And then there's Gamora,
Mhm.
who had a very complicated and negative relationship with her father,
Yep.
and this ends up them being the final two Guardians that are around. It kind of intertwines those two and they're both people that were experimented on.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nebula.
not Gamora. And like all this stuff went through horrible shit and found a family and all this stuff. That intertwines really well. And then also Rocket being like, "Go talk to your fucking mom."
Yeah.
Like that's like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thor. Like,
And
just fucking go talk to your
And
mom.
just that, like, it really is. It that rings true when you can have a scene with no dialogue of just Nebula and Rocket grabbing each other's hands. I don't think they even look at each other.
No.
But that says leagues about those two specific kids.
Yep.
Because they are not the people to reach out for anybody, let alone each other. But now they're at this point, and it lends a little bit more to their slight interactions in Guardians 2.
Yep.
Where they're like on the ship together, where they kind of get left behind.
Yep.
And she's like, "Why do you stick around these people?" It's like, I don't know. They're all right. They keep me alive.
This movie also retroactively making Thor: The Dark World important, which is weird.
Yeah.
Another story that ends up being important, or not important.
There was a
but, like you
great
saying,
quote that his mom said. I just want to get on that. Like when
Renee Russo, who didn't have much to do in those first couple Thor movies.
when she told Thor like the true measure of a hero isn't like their powers or whatever. It comes from like your heart, and like even without powers, any typical person can have super like abilities to like care for somebody, or it's in that same vein.
Yeah.
She basically said like anybody is as great a superhero as somebody as powerful as you.
Yep.
And without being Thor, you're worthy.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
just that motherly, like you needed that pep talk, and Thor needed that too.
Oh,
And then when he was like, "Oh yeah," and then reaches his hand out,
And he cries.
gets beyond there, and he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I'm still worthy."
He's like,
Yeah.
You know what? I might have not gone for the head. I did go for the
Those scenes I liked. I didn't care for a lot of the like, let's go back in the past, let's meet the ancient person. Like I liked the Stark and his dad. I liked Thor and his mom. There was so many good stuff, and Cap fighting Cap. That was cool.
That is America's ass.
Yeah, that is America's
That's America's ass.
As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass.
When it saluted,
He
his
did.
own ass.
He did. No, Ant-Man saluted.
And then when he after Steve knocks himself out or whatever,
Yeah.
back in 2012, and he stops and he looks at it, he's like, "That is America."
And he does a double take. He's like about to walk away, and he's like,
And then
he looks around. He's like, "That is
I think
America's
that
ass."
was because he was alone. If anybody
Yeah.
had been there at that moment, he would have just walked. But because he was
Oh,
just
because he was about to say, "I swear."
He was.
He's always
He
language.
he doesn't like
He
he doesn't
says
like
swear all
swears.
over this movie.
Yeah,
He
but
kind of does, yeah.
the-
No, he does. He says, "Let's get that son of a bitch, that
Yeah.
ass."
yeah.
He says,
Oh yeah, he
"Let's get-
does.
He's fed up.
He's in 5 years, yeah.
Um,
That rage is there.
The Black Widow, her little tidying up of her story, I enjoyed that.
Knowing her dad is Ivan,
Yep.
she didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
Red Skull did.
Yep.
There was a
Natasha, son of Ivan, or daughter of Ivan, and then Clint, son of
And then
somebody.
you get reminded of how close those two are.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like they kind of built
They've
that
been there
rapport
from
back.
Avengers 1
Well, yeah,
and
and before that, working together too in Shield, and like, and you get that, and then that fight between them to fucking.
I want to sacrifice myself. No, I want to.
Clint just like, dude, all this shit I've done recently, like, fuck. and
But
she's
he
just
deserves
like,
redemption
Yeah,
and
it's like, but your family, you know,
Yeah,
you
you
deserve
actually
this,
have a family to go back
and
to. I
and
don't.
like, let me do this,
And I never will.
and then yeah, and then her sacrificing herself to that was a nice tidy little thing, which it slight part of me was just like, oh shit, that means the Black Widow movie is gonna be a fucking prequel. But at the same time, I'm like, that's okay because like we've got like the Red Room and like all this interesting shit with her from her like Soviet agent
Her
days.
heyday as a
Yeah,
spy.
which you could potentially get Bucky into
Yeah.
for Winter Soldier stuff.
it's almost
Because they
a
have
better.
because they have
It's a
cast,
better
and you
avenue
can
to
bring-
go down.
and you can bring in like her meeting Clint for
Yeah.
the first time.
Oh,
or, like,
yeah.
the infamous whatever fucking what's the mission they always reference? Budapest.
Yeah.
Like you bring that in there.
Um,
There's a bunch of stuff you could do.
You could
Or
drop
like set up Budapest, you know?
or do other stuff where maybe Baron Strucker
Oh,
is like
yeah.
involved, or maybe Zola, because he's not around. He's like the computer at this
Zola,
point.
yeah.
But you can bring in other ancillary characters that you've worked with before.
Dr. Faustus or whatever, who was another. I think he might actually be Russian. Could be German. But he was he's a big like Cap, like kind of type villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do.
I need to make a phone call, so let's wrap it up here. But I want to leave.
How about we just pause? Can we just pause it?
Well, we've already been going for a long time. We should.
Dude, I've got more, dude.
I know.
I got more.
So let's
I haven't run down my complete fucking shit yet.
Oh, we'll do the bullet points and then we'll maybe pick up on some of them. But you can run through all of
Okay.
them. But you can't spend
Okay.
eons on
We're,
them.
Alright.
we're already how long in? We got to get to other stuff.
Alright,
But I do need to like.
Fucking the Stark storyline with him and his family, that was cool. Giving him a little thing.
That's
Also, when
that's the
Stark-
that's the one thing that hurt me
yeah.
being a dad.
Oh yeah.
And like
3000.
Love You 3000, and then the fact that at the beginning they played that really like beautiful like somber music when he
Yeah.
was like passing out
Yeah.
before like Captain Marvel showed up,
Yeah.
and at the end they had like a motif of that again, and then they did like an acoustic kind of twangy guitar
Yeah.
at his funeral.
Yeah.
I felt that like the little girl when she's like,
Yeah.
I want cheeseburgers, and
Yeah.
that was like
cheeseburgers.
your dad like
Yeah,
cheeseburgers.
I was like, oh.
That was good.
Uh,
Just the bookends of those
the-
that somber song that played.
the first meeting of Iron Man and Cap when Stark gets back, that fight, the verbal fight and shit they have. That was
You weren't here.
Yeah.
You the Soviet the things the chords.
Yeah. Fucking the final fight with Thanos when they all approach and then they do like the this is the big three last time fucking just going.
I love the fact that Thor was all schlubby
Yeah.
and then haggard, and then he grabs both. He's got a little top like thing and a top knot.
Yep. He's
Everything gets braided for him.
I am the god of thunder.
Yep, his eyes go.
And then yeah, like you said, the fucking toss the hammer and fucking Cap grab it, and then Cap just one-on-one fucking going on Thanos and shit, chucking shit,
Where
throwing
Cap
when he throws the fucking
Shield.
and then chucks the hammer at it, and then the vibranium fucking
knocks
Yep.
knocks him forward
That was
kind of.
like-
or when Cap like swings the hammer close to the ground and like shoots out like all these like little
Yeah,
sparks
the
of
lightning
electricity.
and shit.
The
When he
spark
calls
pylons.
lightning,
Yeah,
he's-
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fucking
Well, he calls and then he like just slams it.
Hey,
the callback
Kane.
Came,
Fucking
dude.
Kane.
When Cap's like beating him down and shit, and then he's trying to call Sam and shit, and then and then he starts coming through, and then the callback to fucking Winter Soldier when he's like on your left, and then that was cool.
It's like
fucking stabbing a bitch with the fucking with his wings. That was tight.
yeah, that was cool.
The all the female Avengers magically getting together, pandering as fuck, but it was cool.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't Wasp
cool.
wasn't the Wasp with Ant-Man in the van?
Yeah, also she was there.
She was there now.
And Mantis. Don't forget him.
Mantis needs.
Gamora, who has no connection to any of these people.
Yeah.
I'll just show up with these ladies too.
And then they all pose in that one
Yep.
light, and it's you don't know. And
Pandering as fuck. It was a cool shot. Though.
I just like Peter flying with all the ladies. That was
Yep.
kind of cool.
Yep.
Like he's with Valkyrie's like, hey, how you doing? Whoa!
What's up? Fucking the rescue armor, fucking Pepper's armor. That was
Yep.
back to back and just blasting bitches.
That was cool. Obviously, all the people come and fight, and then they do a kind of version of the pan around shot where it shows all the different kind of groups of people fighting. That was cool.
I laughed when Drax jumped on the dude and was just like, he was raging out so hard.
Again, kind of a callback to that first Avengers movie where you kind of follow them around the city and shit. Clint running with the gauntlet and then like passing it off to Nebula. That's a little fucking callback to the Infinity Gauntlet storyline in the comics because
they did a relay race.
In the comics, she puts on the gauntlet and undoes everything, and she becomes crazy. But like she undoes it not for the good of people. She just wants to spite Thanos in the comics. So that was cool. And then the pass around, like you said, fucking Peter gets it, flip, run around, fucking Panther when Panther gets it and just starts fucking going. And then Captain Marvel.
Well, yeah, Panther grabs it from Clint. He's like, give it.
Yeah,
and then he goes, and then he like that weird dude. What's that? The other general of Thanos, the Maul.
Oh yeah.
Maw. Yeah.
Ma.
He was lifting it up, and then Peter comes by. He's like, hey, give it.
There was one specific movement that Peter did that was like, oh, that's classic Spider-Man. He did some kind of like momentum, like whipping himself with his webs, and I was like, yes, bitch.
Like I was saying, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel exchange before he gives her the gauntlet.
It's the kill mode.
Yep.
Which is a lot of stabbing. It's a lot of just like
activate instant kill.
Yeah,
arms
his
into
arms.
eyes.
The arms from the Iron Spider costume. That was tight.
And that was foreshadowed in Homecoming.
Yep. And then when when Thanos finally like gets it and starts putting it on and shit, and they're like, no. And it's that big clusterfuck of trying to beat him, grab him, and get him. And then
that sounds like a good Friday night.
Tony does a big old switcheroo where he basically just like uses like his since the gauntlet
osmosis, his
armor, and then the armor just went and got it and put the fucking thing, and then he was just like, "What's up, bitch?" And then fucking Doctor Strange looks at him and just goes.
The camera focus panned on the one. Like this is the one timeline.
And Stark was like, "Fuck, shit, yeah, boom," and then everyone gets wiped out. That was tight. The Thor, everything was cool in that, the battle, whatever. Tony dying was emotional and cool with all his people that were,
wearing his
people to comfort him at the end were the people that he made tech for.
Yeah. And then because that's a sign of love, right?
I know, but
that's his way of showing I made armor.
You could also look at that in a very cynical way. The only people willing to reach out at the end were the people who got some from it.
True.
And then
can you put me in your will?
The endings, Thor fucking off with the Guardians. That's got a lot of possibilities.
A lot, especially with like him and Rocket.
Him and Quill too, like him and Quill, the little.
Him and Quill having that.
Well, you know who the leader is.
I hope that they.
Of course.
Like, if they are in a movie together, him and Quill. Yeah. I hope that they do find like some kind of footing for their dialogue where they don't constantly have to be competing. I hope they can still have like a rivalry, maybe like Goku and Vegeta, where they're like they know that they are kind of like rivals with each other, but they know that like I will step down to let you step up to let the group like do well or do better.
I just know in the comics that Thor is the one to find or fight Adam Warlock.
Probably.
At some point, probably.
No, like I just looked this up recently, and it was like if it was part of the Infinity Wars or if it was just like part of Adam Warlock's origin, but like Thor is the one to like initially fight him.
Wrapping it up. So yeah, that gives us potential for either just Thor being in the next Guardians movie or Thor just going to space to do his shit, and then we get more Thor. And then Cap's ending was touching. Right? It was kind of it was
The end shot. Yeah, I like the end
well,
shot.
yeah, the ending on that was cool. The funeral, I like that. 'Cause you had that pan around of all the different people that were there. For everyone that's like, who the fuck's that random ass teenager in the back? That was the
Iron Man
real
3.
shitty kid from Iron Man
The
3.
Christmas kid.
I don't knock you for not knowing that because that movie was a while ago. Fuck that movie.
Well, that kid
And
also grew the fuck up.
Yeah,
How are you supposed to
yeah.
know
The
that,
kid,
you know?
yeah, he was in like Jurassic World too.
Yeah.
And now he's like, he's a big teen.
Yeah, but yeah. So seeing all the people from the different, the teams and whatever, all these people, I really like that where it stopped was on his daughter and with Favreau, who is the guy who also started all of this with RDJ as the director of Iron Man 1
Mm-hmm.
and Iron Man 2, and was originally going to direct the first Avengers movie. Um, and him sticking around was happy. It was cool to have him have that closure too, especially with the burger thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Of course, seeing Fury and all that shit.
I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers you want.
The very last thing I have to say is this movie had the first and only TV to movie cameo.
Yeah.
Only one in the Marvel history. We've had people from the movies on like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and shit, but this had the first TV character to movie cameo, and it was the most like underwhelming thing. I was fine with it because I liked him.
It was kind of cool though.
It was the human Jarvis.
Yeah.
From the Agent Carter series, aged up, obviously, or aged older because it's 20, 30 years after
exactly.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he was there, so that was cool. And no end credit or no credit scenes, but the last thing you hear is the sound of the fucking hammer from Iron Man 1 on the forge. And that's nice. And where it began.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, I'd have to listen to that sound. I don't know it.
It's pretty recognizable too.
Okay.
You know what you're looking for.
When Iron Man's forging his armor in
Gotcha.
in the first. So it ends where it begins. Same with Iron Man.
And that's probably on the flip through sequence at the beginning when they show all the like the comic strips and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's in like some kind of thing and he's banging.
Yeah. Also, I like what he said when he says too. When he says "I am Iron Man" for that last time too.
He said that at the end of the first movie too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a callback there. So like he's him revealing himself to like this being like,
this is who I am. Yeah.
I'm fucking Iron Man.
Affirming to himself in the last moment.
Yep.
He's inevitable. He's Iron Man.
Yep.
The last thing that I want to leave both of you with is don't answer this. Just think about.
I'll probably answer it.
Please don't, because
please clap. He has to make a fucking clap.
I want you just to think about the conversation that Captain America had with Red Skull when he went to return the Soul Stone. And that's going to be it for our digression this week. We'll see you later, everybody. Maybe next time we'll talk about more Bear in the Big Blue House.
On to phase 4. So long.
Well, after Spider-Man.
Farewell. Yeah. To you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again. I said so long. Farewell to you,